Hey everyone, my name's Aditya Malati. I am the head of mobile engineering here at Keyri, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to create an iOS app that integrates Cognito and Keyri to perform QR-based authentication.
Okay, so first I'm going to create a brand new Xcode project. Just a regular application, and I'm going to call it AWS Keyri. I'm first going to call it Cognito and then change my mind. And we'll just keep it as Swift and Swift UI. Find a good spot for it in your file system. And we have a basic Hello World application that we're going to then use to build our test app. Okay, so next we're going to set up Amplify by initiating it in our terminal. So we're going to find our project and navigate into it. And then we're going to set up Amplify auth by simply running amplify add auth. Let's see what happened here. Oh, and yeah, you need to run amplify init first. My mistake. So we'll run that first. And we will just follow the default prompts. We'll just name the project exactly the same as the Xcode project and use the default configuration for everything. And I've already set up an authentication profile. You can follow the standard AWS docs to get that set up on your side. And then we have a couple more prompts. You can choose whether or not you want to send them data, and that is it. And now we can go ahead and run amplify add auth, and now it'll actually work. We're just going to use our default configuration and use username password to authenticate.
So next we're simply going to add the AWS Amplify package to our library. The URL is provided in the description below, and we're going to go ahead and add this Amplify Swift. There is some documentation here that's also on their GitHub, and we're going to go ahead and add it to the base project AWS Keyri. Just press add, wait for everything to load up. And we're going to go ahead and add the API plugin, the Cognito auth, data store, and the Amplify libraries. You can also add more later on if you wish, depending on how you're using Amplify. These are the ones we're going to use today. Next, I'm going to go back to the terminal, and in the base directory, just run amplify init. And I'm just going to stick with the default settings for all of this. I'm going to use dev, and what this is going to do is create a configuration file, actually two configuration files that I will show you right now. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a quick code overview on exactly how to get the access token, the secret key, from the Amplify SDK, and then use the Keyri SDK to actually complete the QR authentication. So we're going to import a few things here. I'm just in the main function here. I'm just using the main function of the SwiftUI application just to keep things simple. So we're going to be importing Amplify, AWS Cognito, AWS plugin core, and also Keyri pod. So in this function, this is basically where everything happens. We're going to get the auth session. You could also use sign in with username and password here. We're just going to keep things simple and use fetch auth session instead. And what's going to happen here is we're actually going to get the identity provider and cast it as an auth Cognito identity provider. They kind of shield the credentials themselves. So you kind of have to do this unwrapping here just to actually get it out. And then at this point, we're going to be able to actually get the credentials provider here. And in this credentials provider is the actual credential. And within the credential, you have the secret key. Here, I'll show you credentials.secret key and access key. And what we're going to do is initiate Keyri here. Get rid of this. We're going to initiate Keyri. We're going to call the easy Keyri auth function. You can also use initiate QR session if you want to use a custom confirmation screen, or if you just want to have a bit more control over exactly what happens. With easy Keyri auth, what's going to happen is the QR code scanner is going to get launched automatically. We're going to then create the session, pass it off to the Keyri service, and send it back to the browser all in one call. And the payload that we will be sending to the browser is the secret key. That's really it. It's pretty simple. It's really just one function call with Keyri if you're using this easy Keyri auth function. Of course, the username will be the actual username provided, and the app key will be the app key that you receive from the developer portal when you sign up for Keyri. So I'm first going to run pod init in the project directory, and what that does is it creates the pod file for me. Then just going to open up the pod file and add the Keyri pod to the list, just like so. Save the file, and then go back and run pod install. By the way, the Arch x86 thing is you only need that if you're running an M1 Mac. And as you can see, the Keyri pod was installed. And then in Finder, I'm just going to go ahead and find my directory, AWS. And now you can see the XC workspace has been created, and that includes the source code as well as the Cocoa pods. And that's the Keyri pod. And we're going to tie this all together. As you can see on my screen, I have my iPad. We're going to scan the QR code from the web app. The prompt is going to show up, and we're just going to accept it, and we are in. It's really that simple. If you have any questions, please feel free to let us know. Otherwise, our GitHub is linked below. You can see the source code and actually build the app out and try it for yourself, as well as our documentation. All of that's linked below, but of course, feel free to reach out if you have any other questions, and we'll get back to you soon. Thank you for watching.